Welcome to another episode and a fresh take of Free Mind Thinkers. I am your host, Big Brother Tucker, and finally, Big Brother has produced Baby Boy. My little brother, you may call him Frosty, or as his Asian women know him, Papa San.
Papa
Frosty,
Son.
Frosty, it's about time I got you in the think tank. Now,
Well,
I have expounded to you people before that this man is also known as the critic. He can and will take a movie that you hold near and dear to your heart and make you question if you ever really liked that film. He has the power. So, with that being said, let's start off with one of the topics that he and I often have in person, and that's current day Hollywood. Or as my main man, Nerd Roddick, has referred to it, the MCU. Frosty,
oh,
give us your thoughts on the MCU.
okay. Welcome, everybody. But before I get onto this, I have to say a few things. I am subject to say anything at any given time, go off on tangents that you wouldn't even believe. My brothers know it. My sisters know it. It's just who I am. If I stop in the middle of talking and come up with something totally random, just accept it. Just accept it. So, MCU on topic. We got problems. We got problems. What are we going to do? Honestly, for me, I'm checked out. In game was in game for me too. But we are now in this new phase
See,
of
I call
new.
it, bro, real quick. See, they call it phase four. I got two things that I call it, and you can pick one of these two phrases. I call it phase flop, or I call it phase film. Which would you like to call it?
Phase flop.
Phase flop. Proceed and discuss phase flop because so far into phase flop, here is what we have been presented with for phase flop. Follow me. WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye, Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so. Oh, Loki. That's what I was forgetting. Um, and then we just had the release of which you haven't seen it yet.
Did you say Captain Soldier and Winter
Yeah,
Soldier?
I was about to say Captain America, and I
That's
said
it.
Captain. Oh yeah,
Yes.
with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But
Yes.
we have that. You haven't seen the mediocre Doctor Strange and the mediocre Multiverse of Madness.
Hmm.
Um, I want to call it Doctor Strange and the mediocreness of the madness of mediocrity. Um,
Hmm.
and we can't forget, and which actually fell into the phase four was Black Widow. Black Widow, I think they technically called that a phase four movie.
And you know why?
I
I
guess yes, because phase three officially ended with Far From Home, Spider-Man. The only
okay.
good thing they've done so far, and I don't look, Spider-Man No Way Home, solid movie. But it wasn't what everybody claimed it was. It was okay. It was good. I would say it was entertaining, which is a base which in my opinion is the baseline of what all the movies should be. At the very
So
least, you should be entertaining.
so what is the name of this? The last Spider-Man movie is called
No Way
No
Home.
Way Home.
There's no way home.
I mean, I watched it. I mean, I was at home, but I didn't want to be there.
Frosty,
It,
come.
it was an okay
You were
film.
at wait. So you're telling me is to you it was so bad you were at home and wanted to leave home. Is that what you were trying to say to me right now?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
The we had this conversation, off air. The
Mhm.
phase flop. We talked about how we talked about last podcast. All those who missed it talked about jaded sight, and we're not saying, well, at least I'm not saying by any stretch that the MCU isn't getting woke. What I'm saying is the wokeness isn't as bad as some people portray it, but it is because they have started it. They have injected it. They have let it be openly and publicly known that that's what they're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
now every
Looking
little
for it.
thing that you see is magnified because you are trained to see it. The example being, if there is somebody that you don't like, every little thing that they do is magnified.
Yes.
It's going to be something that is an affront directly to you. If they sneeze and put their hand over their mouth, they didn't put their hand over their mouth fast enough. They should put
Yep.
they should have put their head in their shirt. Anything that they do is going to set you off. Where opposite that, no matter what somebody does that you like, you're always going to give them an excuse, an out, and the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
So that's the jaded sight that we are on when it comes to phase flop. I don't believe it's not as bad as people are telling you it is. It's not. Believe it or not, all the female stuff and all the woman empowerment, it is not as, I'm not saying it's not there or it's not forefront, but some people will tell you that they are just forcibly shoving it down your throat. Oh, they're putting it in your face, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not using words in the movies like her story, or you know how they put her in his spots, like you know
Yeah,
his story,
it's
her
not
story.
radical. Yeah.
It's not a radical thing, but they are doing it. Like I noticed it, and to me, it was cool because um, if my mother was still here, the scene in End Game where all the women kind of linked up to fight, my mother would have enjoyed that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she would have thought that was a cool scene. To me, it was cringe because, oh, okay, because if you actually just watch the flow of the movie, that scene felt forced.
Yeah.
It did. When Frosty, Breeze, and I all went to movie together to go see Endgame in the theater, and
Mm-hmm.
we all talked about that scene. That scene just felt forced, like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a natural scene.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's a giant battlefield, and so you're trying to tell me that all the women knew to huddle up.
Yeah. That's where that did make sense. It could have helped. Everybody could have held up. I mean,
I mean,
what?
because the scene is Captain Marvel getting there to get the gauntlet from Peter
Mm-hmm.
Parker.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, I'm going to give it to you, but I don't know how you're going to get through them. And you see just the entire Thanos horde converging on her to get the gauntlet. But the only people that show up to get through the horde are the women. Not Ant-Man, who's supersized right now. Not Winter Soldier. None of them.
But that's the problem when you have things like this. It's like if you just think about it for more than a moment, you was like, well, what is all everybody else is doing right now? I mean, if you show what other people were doing, if like right before that scene, you would have showed like, hey, they were preoccupied, or if what if the women, some of the women were just they just got there and they just got on the scene, it would have been like, okay, cool, you saw what happened, versus going, hey, all of a sudden this happened. He's like, I mean, and the reason why that stands out is like what we talked about before, is that the well has been poisoned. And since the well has been poisoned,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't a lot of poison, it was still poison. And therefore, now that you like you got sick from it, now you threw up, you was on in the bed for a while, you remember that pain. You remember that feeling. So now every time you think about it, you now everything's amplified. Like what you were talking about just now, everything's amplified. We were like, Before, that's why the whole idea when it comes to diversity and inclusion, once you know that's what they're doing, you can't. I can't see it as being a natural thing anymore. Saying that, oh, we just did this to include more people. It's like, no, it feels like you forced this when it didn't need to be there, because especially like in comic books or certain things with source material where they already had, say, diverse characters there already. You know, there was already represented groups already. and then you say, screw it, I'm going to change this character from being a redhead to now they're a black character. Or I'm going to take this straight character and turn them gay. It's like, why would you do that? Just create new characters. Just create something that's already been there. Use that. No, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem is the fact that they don't take new ideas and bring this diversity and inclusion. They're not bringing new ideas to new characters. They're taking old characters, pre-existing lore, pre-existing established things, and say, no, we're going to change it now. And we're going to change it not just a little bit, we're going to change it a lot. And that's what poisons the well. Where you have a dedicated fan base and changing it, drastic changes. We understand, if you read comics, you understand that when they do reboot a series or something like that, they make changes to the character. But one of the things that they used to talk about is when they're introducing a revamped version, they still try to stay to core principles of a certain character. Because if you completely changed it, it's a new character. You're just putting, it's like, if you're doing it that much, just make a new character. But they don't do it because they want the brand recognition of the old. They want to take the pre-established everything, the social credit or whatever you want to call it, of the old product and a new face. It's like, what's the point? Just make new. Start a whole new franchise. Start a whole new MCU, whole new, whatever you want to call it. Make it new. And then if the people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. So they got to deal with it.
Yeah, so be it. YouTube creator Eric D. July, aka Young Whipper 59, he said that for a very, very long time. Which is I don't think that the social justice warriors, liberals, these people understand that on the whole, people like myself, people that complain about it, we don't have any phobe or ist or anything like that. We don't have a problem with gay characters. We don't have a problem with alphabet characters. We don't have a problem with female characters. We don't have a problem with strong female leads. What we're saying is be original, be organic. That's what we're saying. We are saying that if you want to make a gay character or a character, of the LGBTQ, whatever, the alphabet community, make an original character. Quit shoehorning. Y'all, they attach it to people that are already established, thinking that that'll help put it over. That's what that is. They attach it to characters that are already established and try to put it over. When they made Iceman gay, why? So y'all can't make another character. Y'all can't create your own character and make them gay.
But here's a question too.
Go ahead.
Who are you trying to cater to? Like,
and that's the kicker. That therein lies the rub. Because the crowd they're trying to cater to, it's not the crowd that spends the money.
And like I said, and this also goes to not just being like, say, LGBT type stuff or female type stuff. It's just overall, like, to me, when it comes to marketing or whatever, knowing your demographic of who's following you, if there's not a groundswell for what you already have, or if you even create something new, because sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you have to create something, put it out there, make it good. But here's the thing. It has to be good. It has to be of quality. It has to be something people enjoy. If they don't like it or don't want it, it's not going to grow.
No, but what you're saying is right. It's one of those things of let the market speak. And instead of letting the market speak, they keep trying to dictate the market.
Yeah.
We're going to make you like they just made, like when they made Robin gay. Well, that didn't catch on. Well, let's make Superman's son gay. Oh, okay, well, that didn't come on. Now they've dropped little sort of hints that Bruce Wayne is gay.
Oh wow, my goodness.
It's like their brain refuses to accept the fact, hey, this is not what's up. So keeping on topic, before we jump any
Yeah.
further,
Mhm.
phase flop. This is a problem.
Yeah.
The overall problem is, and it's not just with the MCU. It's just not with
Yeah.
phase flop.
Yeah. It's more than
It's an overarching problem, but the figurehead for that problem is the MCU because they are the biggest brand
yeah.
out there.
Yep.
And they are so trying to push, they are so busy trying to push agendas that they've lost the ability to tell a story.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
completely lost that ability. I will
And
give you, I'll give you I never read the comic book, but it's a comic book that got turned into a movie for Netflix.
mhm.
They had a gay couple in it that they only um really the openly gay scene once in the whole movie.
No, Olgar.
Ogar. And you saw how you had to think about that, like, oh yeah, that was. That's how it should be. You got to think about it
But
and go, that's right, they were.
but it feels like what's happening now. I mean, even if you let's forget about all this like modern day stuff. Forget all that.
Okay.
It is what the thing is the problem of this is what it feels like to me. I could be totally wrong. When they're writing these stories, it feels like they go, hey, instead of making an interesting story, it's like, no, let's take whatever the thing going on right now and let's make that the focus. And we'll write everything around it. And the sad part about that is even as for example, I'll use an example. Let's say a gay character. Some of these people who are writing some of these characters can't write a compelling character because and they can't show this person has flaws or weaknesses because they think that if you show this gay person with flaws or weaknesses, then that in itself is a problem.
I, I feel that what you're saying is exactly what the problem is. It's all become agenda. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it all up in a
Yes.
bow. The problem with
Yes.
phase flop, MCU's phase flop,
Hmm.
it's become all agenda.
Yep.
The stories are terrible. Listening to other reviews, watching other content creators, they summed it up for me why I really didn't vibe Doctor Strange
Hmm.
in the multiverse of mediocrity.
Hmm.
And that is they dumbed him down progressively every time you saw him.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Until he said it, I'm like, oh God, he's right. We're talking about a man who found his way to Comatage, began studying at an insane rate, even to the point where he's a literal novice and learns how to control the time stone. Even to the extent that you find out later that his coming there, becoming the source supreme, was foretold.
Yeah.
People forgot that in the first one, the ancient one said, "You were destined to be the best among us. You're destined to be the best of us." Stephen Strange.
Yeah. Man, my God. It's been so many years since I watched the
Yeah.
first one.
When the ancient one told him, "You were meant to be the best of us, Stephen Strange." So they knew of Strange's greatness, what he was destined to do. We get that. It's just the fact that I thought about it. I'm like, no, actually, he was still good. He was still a very competent person in Infinity War to an extent. Even though if you watch how it should have ended,
Yeah.
the Infinity War movie. Oh
Yeah.
God, you see so many open opportunities that Strange could have had to end this.
Yes. Yes.
It
You know
makes
something?
because he shows you in the first Strange movie. Oh God, in the first Strange movie, he went up against Dormammu. Well, let me
Yes.
pause again here for the normal folks who have no idea the power of Dormammu. You just don't mess with Dormammu. He is his power is infinite. And for Strange to actually fight him to a draw the way he did by basically outthinking him in the first Doctor Strange movie shows you there were opportunities upon opportunities upon opportunities that he could have taken in Endgame and Infinity War. Well, in Infinity War, they made Endgame pointless. So I guess to put a nice little cute little bow on it, I would say this about Phase Flop. And it's better said by the one and only Falcon himself.
You've got to do better.
That's the best way to end it, man. The way I do about Phase Flop, you got to do better.
Gotta do better.
You got to do better, man. That's going to do it for this segment of Free Mind Thinkers. If you like what you heard, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to hear more of it, go ahead, hit the subscribe while you're at it. And please feel free to comment on anything that you hear. And as we always say here at Free Mind Thinkers, listen less, learn more. Don't forget that you can find us on all your social media platforms: Getter, Gab, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. And we are podcasts on several media platforms. Make sure you check out full episodes there in the podcast section or wherever you may get your favorite podcasts. Until the next time, y'all stay up.